folks, Engineer 775 here on our next battery backup, multiple critical loads panel, lithium ion, you name it job. We're going to be putting our system in this nice little barn, and then we're going to put a critical loads panel that we're going to subfeed over to that house way over there. Not that house, but there's a house right there. See that house right there? It's about 550 feet, so we will be powering a critical loads panel from this building. Well pump and everything's on this building. We're just laying out our little ground mount, another Sinclair fixed ground mount, and that's what's going on. What are you filming up there? Okay, this is the afternoon of the first day. Got our solar array we're going to build there. We just poured concrete, and we're bringing our power into that side of the barn right over there, and the inverter and battery are going to be on the other corner, and then we're going to do a 600-foot trench. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to take and build another critical loads panel, so I'll show you where we're going. We're going over here. All right, so you can kind of see we're going to go right in there. So I got a trench up there, and then we're going to go into the crawl space and then shoot to the other side of the house and build a critical loads panel next to the main panel. Actually, we're going to put in a panel, move the heavy breakers, the 220 loads we're not going to run off grid, and we're going to power the existing panel. Put some disconnects on the back, the meter's on the back side. So it's like two jobs in one. Long trench, 600 feet, but it's a beautiful, beautiful location, beautiful day. And it's time to keep digging. All right. Okay, just to show you some of the components, we got our AC disconnect out here. We're going to land our mobile home feeder in here. We're going to run it, and it's going to be fun, but we're going to actually pull the conduit over the wire. I know you typically pull the wire through the conduit, but we're not going to do any pull boxes in this, and we got to get to that house. So you see how far away that is? Anyway, and then our DC disconnect and everything will be here. This is a small array. It'll be 14 panels, 400 watts each. And man, we came dangerously close to hitting the power line. It's always scary. And that's right there. It was marked after we dug the hole. I'll confess, it's not a good move. But anyway, so we got lots to do on this job. We just get in here and we tear everything up and eventually put it back together. All right, beginning of day 2, we've started building our ground mount, and we went and picked up panels from Zana Energy. We love working with the Amish. They supply us from time to time with our equipment, some of the panels, and so they're great to work with. Jonathan Miller and Matt Smucker and the gang, and we appreciate them. They got us hooked up today, so I went over and picked up those panels this morning. Back right up to the array. We love ground mounts. Roof mounts today are just between the insurance, the conduit, whole roof penetrations, rapid shutdown requirements with NEC 2017. The list goes on and on of why we like ground mounts. And soon I'll have the driver. I've got ordered a driver from Doyle Equipment in Ireland, and it'll be here. Hopefully those laddies are getting me driver ready, and I'm going to be able to drive these posts with a mini excavator and not even have to get concrete. So we'll be able to build these by lunchtime anytime we deploy and show up. And then it's just trenching. You know, we don't mind digging. We like digging and getting our power in. This way you can put your solar array at the optimal location. And if you've seen my seasonal adjust video, check it out. Then you can adjust and to whatever, just on the solstices, you can crank that baby right into the sun. So that's a good thing to consider with ground mount. So a lot of reasons to do a ground mount, a lot more reasons than there were before. And solar companies are always afraid of doing ground mounts. We're not. We're specializing in ground mount solar. And so we don't like the roof. I'm gravitationally challenged. Just building a little solar here on a beautiful day in an undisclosed location with the chickens. And we're just putting up a nice little ground mount here with a Sinclair design. It's got our panels in the truck. We're ready to build and trench some more. We got a 600-foot trench to that house over there. We're going to get it done, and then we're going to feed this building as well. What a beautiful day. Beginning of the third day. We cleaning up, backfilling this long trench. And it's just a beautiful day. It's always great to get this done before rain hits, and we'll grade it out nicely, pack it in, and seed it. Hard to get straw these days, but this pasture's pretty healthy. It'll take over pretty quick. So, all right. We're gonna finish the electrical in this building here this morning. Johnny and Abraham and Antonio in there transitioning from the solar and from this mobile home feeder to Romex and MC cable over to the solar, get the solar up and running, charging the battery, and then we're going to come down to this house and blitz it. We're going to transition again from the mobile home feeder to 6.3, do a critical loads panel and AC disconnect on the outside, and subfeed this house so that they'll have off-grid power. They did a project a couple years ago. This house has solar, an old Magnum system with GT500, so there'll be solar on that, solar subfeed to this house, and then this house will have power, the barn, and that's good because the well pump is on this, and we're going to running a VFD on this one, a Pentair variable frequency drive system with about a 1 horsepower well pump. So I'm curious to see how the Solark does running the VFD. And that supplies all these other buildings, chickens and barns, and there's some other homes. So the well here supplies just about all the structures. We're doing that on solar. Okay, just showing a little interim video here. Here was the main panel for this system, critical loads panel. We always put a bypass in. I'll show you the AC disconnect, which is the same unit. So we allow for a generator hookup and an AC disconnect. And then we do a bypass in case there's any issue with our system. This critical loads panel will go back on the grid. Use our wiring troughs. We try to do our best to separate AC but DC. But when you get to a bimodal inverter like this, what do you have? AC and DC all thrown in together. We've got a pretty small array, but she's cranking. It's making over 5 kilowatts. It's a 5,600 watt array. So pretty impressive. It's bringing down a lot of power. Panels are clean. It's a cool fall day. Blue sky, obviously. And the battery is a Fortress eVault, and she is taking almost 89, 90 amps, charging up nicely. We just started at about 44% SOC. We're up to almost 60%. So she is charging nicely. Anyway, we're in a barn. It's a little rougher than our normal household install, but it's a nice shop. And this is a really nice system. It's insulated enough. We shouldn't have an issue with anything in here. And all right, brought our DC in, and this is our AC feed out. 600 feet away, we're going to a house to build another critical loads panel that will be on this system. And I'll just show you the little disconnect that's out here. We're using the GE safety switch as an AC disconnect. It's a NEMA 3R. And we're going to bring grid power out here, and then this will allow for a generator outlet. The customer has a portable generator, so we can charge the batteries. We can also run the loads, and it also is a point of disconnect for the system. All right, just a quick shot before we button up all the panels. Main panel that was here. We've added a critical loads panel, backup panel for the system. We've got our bypass grid versus solar bypass. Put the same transfer switch on the outside for the grid to go out as it and use it as a shut-off, an AC disconnect, and a generator inlet. So that's kind of cool. So this is a bypass in here, and outside is an AC disconnect. So we did a little different than we have done it before. Well, we didn't have to add an extra AC disconnect. All our wiring trough, we have our power distribution blocks, Ferris Schmutz. Those are awesome. CTs are in. We should really shorten up the battery cables on this eVault. Lithium ion, 18.5 kilowatt battery from Fortress Power. They're sweet, nice units on casters. Roll them in, hook them up, and you got a lot of power. So everything's working fine. Solar's working. And we just did a test of the subfeed 600 feet away to the house critical loads panel. We ended up putting a transfer switch at the house instead of building a critical loads panel, and that worked out great. So they just have to manually manage some of their heavy breakers, turn them off, and they're good to go. So, okay, just gotta get these things labeled, put on here. Johnny will probably have to come back and talk to the customer about it. So we're good. It's time to pack up.